Ladies and gentlemen, after another month, we have landed on more games that I played because this series is still going on, even if it's a little bit late. So if you guys didn't see, my February video came out at the beginning of April instead of at the end of March. I'm gonna try and get back on track, so you'll probably see 2 of these videos this month, and then next month it should hopefully go back to 1, but I can't promise you anything because time is an illusion. So in the month of March, I ended up playing 3 games. Now they were a little bit longer than the games I played the last 2 months or the first 2 months of the year, but I actually only beat 2 of them, and I started the 3rd one, and I don't know when I'll go back and continue that 3rd game because, again, we're halfway through April now, and I still haven't gone back to play it, and you might see that as a trend. As you know, if you've watched the last 2 videos, you'll know that there are games that I go to play and that I just never return to, and I'm really hoping that that game isn't one of them, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Also, this video is probably gonna end up being maybe a little bit, you can see my cat spazzing out in the corner, and my other cat down there. I don't know what's gonna happen, but if there's a cat fight behind me, just ignore it. So the first game that I played in March was Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I plan on covering this game very soon. It won't be the video that comes out. Actually, it probably will be the video that comes out after this one, actually. Will be my review of Pokemon Legends Arceus. And my friend Shady Past, or Shady Scripts, whatever you want to call him, he just made a video on this game. So if you're looking for some opinions a little bit more fleshed out than what I'm going to talk about right now, that's going to be the place for you to go before I make my own video here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I don't really know what I can say about this game besides for the fact that this is technically my 2nd time playing the game. When the game came out, or when it first came out, I did play the game the whole way up through the credits. And me as a gamer, 90% of the time when the credits roll, I kind of check out, at least mentally. I'm usually pretty much done with the game and I don't want to play it anymore, especially games that I don't have a lot of fun with. This time, however, I did decide, okay, I want to go through and I at least want to, spoilers if you haven't played the game yet, I at least want to go challenge Volo or fight Volo. I really wanted to go and do the Arceus stuff and see how the game ended, but I did not have it in me to complete the Pokédex and do all the challenges, and I couldn't do it. I wanted to so bad, and I was trying. I really did try, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. After I had to grind for hours just to fight and defeat Volo, I mean, I had to go and switch my team of Pokemon that I was using just to fight Volo and defeat him, and I was not a big fan of that because I had to switch out one of my shinies, which was a Gardevoir, really cool shiny Pokemon. If you know anything about Pokemon, you know that when you catch a shiny, you kind of want to use it on your team for the whole playthrough. And in the Volo fight, because of the way that it ends, which I won't spoil here, if you want to know my opinions on more on that, I'll talk about that in my big, long, major review video of the game. I was just a little bit disappointed that I had to go out of my way and change my team, and my cat is climbing, and I have a lot of gripes with the game. There are a lot of things I dislike, and while I think there are a lot of really great things like the catching mechanic, and I like the story of the game and how it kind of builds to the end, I do think the credits were in the wrong place. I don't think the climax is the climax of the game. But for the most part, I think the best part about Legends Arceus, especially on my 2nd playthrough of this story, was really exploring the region and slowly unlocking the rideable Pokemon so that you could go back to different regions and see new areas or get to different places. And it was also fun as an old-time Pokemon fan being able to experience the older region. In this case, it was Sinnoh, which is Hisui in Legends Arceus. Next month, you will most likely see another Pokemon game on this list, just because I've been kind of a hankering to play Pokemon, and I've been up in the air whether I'm going to do this in kind of a release order backwards, or if I'm just going to play games when I want to play them. But after playing Legends Arceus, I kind of want to play Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl as well, because they just have that sense of, I have a nostalgia for them because I made Pokemon content. So you'll probably see more videos for me on Pokemon in the future. But honestly, from a standpoint of someone who loves Pokemon and has always wanted them to try new things, I am really excited that they did things like change up the battle style and change up the way you catch Pokemon and take away the gyms and add different things. I'm always a fan for when they try something new. But when it takes away from the overall experience and it just makes it so I don't have a lot of fun with the game, that's whenever things get a little boring. And I don't think I'll ever go back and play Legends Arceus again. And it makes me, after playing it for a second time, I'm really hoping that Legends ZA, the new game that just got announced a couple of months ago, doesn't suck. The second game I beat in March was Final Fantasy VII Remake. So just like Legends Arceus, this is a video that I'm gonna want to make soon. I have a lot of thoughts on the game and I don't want them to fly away. And while I have a list of games like God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man Remaster, Tears of the Kingdom that I could sit down and probably talk about on hours on end, I want to make sure that I nail down my points with Final Fantasy VII Remake before some of the little things disappear. So what can I say about the remake of Final Fantasy VII without spoiling too much, since Rebirth just came out? I feel like I might rag on the game a little bit if I talk about it for too long. So we'll see how this goes. I went into the remake of Final Fantasy VII hoping that I would love the game, and while at first I thought it was actually really fun, I thought it was a masterpiece, I loved the story, it kind of wore me down after a while. I think I have about 30 hours of playtime in the game, and I kind of wanted to do the side quests, but as the game gets going, it's just one of those things that I ended up skipping because I didn't want to stop myself from pushing forward on the main quest, especially in the times when they're like, oh yeah, go and do these little side quests for these people. It's never a time that I want to do it. So all of my playtime has mostly been just towards the main quest. The things that I like about this game are the characters, the setting, and the story. The thing that I kind of dislike about this game is the gameplay. While I think the combat style is interesting with the spells and managing your MP meter and managing your party members and the different battle styles and how they maybe affect different things more or less, the thing that just made me so angry while I was playing this game was the stupid boss fights. Not even like the amount of boss fights, but just how long it takes to beat them on normal difficulty. Like, I feel like all I was doing was mashing every single button I could and changing different spells and losing 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 over and over again because I didn't know what was super effective against the boss, and if I couldn't use my sword and I ran out of MP and I didn't have any ethers, it was just a nightmare of, I want to know what happens next in the story, but I don't think I can make it there if I have to fight this boss again. I don't want to get into too much of a detail spiel. I don't want to nail down all the little minutia of why I hate this game because I think that's dumb, and I don't want to hate on the game because I think that if you like Final Fantasy and if you like the action-based JRPGs, then this game would be really fun. And most of you probably already played the game if you're a Final Fantasy fan, because Final Fantasy VII is one of the most, I want to say, prolific games from the 90s, especially on the PlayStation when it comes to JRPGs. It just so happens that for a long-running series, that Final Fantasy was just one of the ones that I never really got into. I mean, I was introduced to Final Fantasy from Kingdom Hearts, so if that tells you anything, I don't really know a lot about the franchise, but I did beat 7 Remake, and I'm now on to Final Fantasy 16, and I'm loving 16. You'll hear about that next month, and that'll get its own review. Absolutely will get its own review. But if you're looking for an interesting game on new consoles, or from someone who hasn't played the original 7, and you're looking for a pretty fun game story-wise, if you can get through what kind of feel like filler arcs in the middle of the game, then I think this is the game for you. But it was a drag for me for a while until the end. So if you can get through the middle section of the game and get to the ending, it's definitely worth it. But let me tell you, it's gonna feel like you're trudging through mud for a long time. And now that I rambled so much about Final Fantasy VII and Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think it's time we talk a little bit about Octopath Traveler. So I've only played about an hour of the game. Honestly, I don't really remember a lot of it. I don't even remember the character I picked for the first session. I know it was the thief, but I don't know a lot after that. And I do think the game was really cool, and I'm excited to see where it ends up. I guess I was just a little bit disappointed to find out that the characters in the game don't really connect. I believe they connect for like a final boss fight, but you're really playing through 8 different side stories, and there's no real main story. I don't really know for sure. I just know that I was a little bit disappointed in learning that the game doesn't connect in the way that I thought it would, or that it's not a game about 8 different party members or 8 different characters. It's about 8 different people in the same world at the same time. I'm not sure. It's one of those games I've been really itching to play because I'm not really a turn-based JRPG person. I mean, I like Pokemon, but that's really all I've ever touched. So I was thinking that maybe Octopath Traveler would be a game that would interest me. And while I did have a lot of fun, I think Final Fantasy has just sucked me in too much, and I have to make my way out of the Final Fantasy bubble before I can play things like Octopath or Dragon Quest or Persona or Shin Megami Tensei. There's a lot of games I want to play that are in that kind of genre, but until I get my fill of Final Fantasy, it's probably going to be a while. What I can say about Octopath from what I've played already is I love the dialogue, I love the music, and I love the combat. While it did take me a little bit to get used to it and I wasn't sure exactly what I was doing at first, once I did get the hang of it, I loved it. And I think that it's a combat system that would work perfectly for something like Legends Arceus or a Legends game. But I'll save that for when I do my Legends review, because I'm going to bring in some examples and talk about why I think it would work in Legends Arceus to kind of go full circle here. I know that Octopath Traveler isn't a game that I know a lot about or I've talked a lot about in this video, but I am super excited to go back and play the game eventually. I don't really know when that's going to be, but I do know that it's going to be super fun, and it's going to be a journey that I'm going to be super excited to talk about, especially with the sequel that came out. I don't think that they're relatively connected. I think it might be like a Final Fantasy kind of thing or a Dragon Quest thing. I don't know enough about Dragon Quest to really make that analogy either, but here we are. And those are the 3 games I played in March, and that's it. I mean, I usually talk a lot longer in these videos, so I'm under 20 minutes now, and that's crazy for a video length, and it probably will be like 15 after I cut out all the jargon and stuff that doesn't make any sense, or the times that I just, say a sentence and don't complete it. So I'm recording this video before I record the It Takes Two review, but the It Takes Two review will probably go up before this video goes up. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen the It Takes Two review or any of the other videos that I made on this channel, make sure you go and watch those. They're super good. I really love talking about games, so if you want to go check those out, I would really appreciate it, and I would also love if you hit the sub button and liked this video. Next month, we've got games like Final Fantasy 16, The Last of Us Part 1, probably another fun game, maybe another Pokemon game. I want to try and broaden my horizons, but like I said, we're 15 days into April right now as I'm recording this, and I have only played 2 games, and I haven't completed any of them yet, and I've been sucked into Final Fantasy 16 like it's nobody's business, so I can't imagine that I'm going to continue or complete any games anytime soon. So it might actually just be a month of one game where I do a 1 full mini review of Final Fantasy 16, but we'll see when we get there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. The next video that will come out on this channel will most likely be my Legends Arceus review, so if you're excited for that, make sure you hit the like button. The biggest video on this channel right now has been our Pokemon review of Scarlet and Violet, so I'm sure that this is something that the people who are subbed here are excited about. So thank you again for checking out this video and watching and just enjoying the content. The love on the channel has been great, and I appreciate it so much. And if you have any games you want me to try out or play sometime this year, make sure you let me know in the comments below so I can give it a try and I can play the games that you want to see me play. Without further ado, I will catch you later. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.